Today we'll be reviewing how to find the volume of prisms and connect that to learn the new subject of volume of cylinders. For this video, you need this page either printed out or the digital version because we'll be going through it together. Let's start by reviewing what volume is. So volume is the amount of three-dimensional space occupied by an object. Volume you'll sometimes also be referred to as capacity. So to find the volume of a prism, which is what we're starting with, you're going to multiply the area of the base by the height of the prism. So the formula, and you might want to box this or highlight it, for a prism is V equals B times H. And that V stands for the volume. B stands for the area of the base. And it's important that you make that note that it's the area of the base, because if it was a lowercase b, that would stand for like a side length base. So capital B talks about the area of the base. And then H is the height of the prism. So to actually calculate the volume of a prism, you're first going to find the area of that base. Then once you have that, you're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. So in this video, we're going to look at three particular kinds. You'll recognize the first two from last year. The first one we have is a rectangular prism, and the base is a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle comes from length times width. So when I'm doing the area of that base, I'm actually going to use length times width of that base rectangle. So here would be my base rectangle. So I'm going to be using 2 and 5. So length times width would be 2 times 5. So capital B in this case would be 10. Now the height of this prism would be like from base to base. So here that's 3. So to find the volume, which comes from the area of the base times height, I'm going to be taking that 10 that I calculated and multiplying it by 3. So my final answer for the volume of this rectangular prism would be 30. And remember, units for volume are cubed. So 30 centimeters cubed. As a recap, I found the area of this base first. So 2 times 5 would be 10. That's my capital B. The height of that prism would be 3 centimeters, so that was my H, and multiplying those two together gave me the volume. Next up, we have a triangular prism. The base has to be that triangle, and the area of a triangle comes from base times height divided by 2. So here, when I'm looking at my base, again, it has to be the triangle. So here would be my base triangle, and the area of that would come from 4.2 times 2.8. I'm going to take that answer and divide it by 2. So 4.2 times 2.8 base times height divided by 2 gets me an area of that triangle as 5.88. Now here, the height has to be from triangle to triangle. So this one's kind of laying on its side, but this 7 here would be my height because that takes me from base to base. So to find the volume of this, I'm going to be taking the area of that triangle, so my 5.88 times my height of that prism of 7. And that gets me a final volume of 41.16. So you'll see, even in these first two, the process is the same. Your very first step is to find the area of your base shape. You multiply that by the height of your prism. So it's no different when we have the new three-dimensional figure of a cylinder. So the only difference between a cylinder and the other two is that its base is a circle. So really, we could name this a circular prism. So its base is a circle, and as a throwback from last year, the area of a circle comes from pi r squared. So I'm going to start off the same way. I need to find the area of that base shape, and here I have a base circle. So the area of that is going to come from pi times 6 squared, because that 6 is my radius. So we'll need to do some rounding for this. I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, And the area of that circle would be 113.04. Okay. Next up, just like the other two, the height here would be this 4 inches. So my final volume is going to come from the area of my base circle, so that 113.04 times the height of that cylinder, which is 4, and I get an answer of 452.16 inches cubed. Okay. So cylinders are just like prisms. I first find the area of my base, still multiply it by the height. The difference is here that the base is a circle, so I need to use pi r squared. Today you'll be practicing the volume of prisms. So you'll see some review prisms like rectangular and triangular, and then a couple new ones of cylinders mixed in. Good luck!